They killed Shelley. They killed Shelley. And they killed me. But now I'm alive. And I'm here to avenge her death. It doesn't matter that I was a drug addict. And I met her in rehab. And I was trying to get clean. And then we escaped rehab together. And she got me back into drugs. And not only drugs, she also got me back into alcohol. And alcohol and drugs. And she also murdered somebody. But it doesn't matter. I will avenge her. I will avenge her because she was a great person. Oh, it's time. It's time. Oh, yes. Vengeance. I will get my vengeance. Yes, I will get my vengeance. Yes. Shelley. My drug addict queen, I am coming for you. They will not have done this in vain. Oh, maybe like this. Maybe a little bit like that. Shelley. No, not Shelley. Rupert Sanders. Rupert Sanders directed this. I'm coming for you first. You dirty mother.
Rotten pumpkins, I invoke the Pumpkin King.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rotten Pumpkins. I am your host, Quinius McGiggleblossom. Today is a very sad day. Today, I am finally getting around to avenging the death of... No. Today, we are reviewing The Crow 2024. Yes. Rest in peace, Erik Draven, Brandon Lee. So where do I begin? Let's go back to 1994. I was a high school senior. I was really looking forward to this movie, and I saw it, and this movie changed my life. This movie has stuck with me forever. The Crow, 1994, with Brandon Lee. This movie was a masterpiece. It was beautiful. It was this tragic love story with vengeance and this incredible actor who I idolized at the time, Brandon Lee, was shot and killed while filming on set. And this is Bruce Lee's son. And I was hugely into karate back then, and I really idolized Brandon Lee. So when he lost his life and then this movie came out, it was just like this haunting memorial for him. And the movie was haunting. It was incredible. It was insane. It was a phenomenal movie. It was dark. It was tragic. It was gritty. It was fun. It was like a graphic novel that came to life on the screen. And Brandon Lee, his line delivery, jump forward 2024. I was really, really looking forward to this movie. I was hyped and excited. When they said Jason Momoa was going to potentially play the Crow, I was like, okay, a little beefier, but yeah, he could bring it. And then the production started, and I found out it was Skarsgård. Okay, cool. I love Bill Skarsgård. He's great. He kind of has the ability to turn his characters into gold, and he really creates memorable characters. There's something about Skarsgård. So the movie came out, critics started dropping reviews left and right, and I felt tainted. I started watching these reviews, and I didn't want to watch the movie. I finally watched the movie last night, and this is going to be my review. This is going to be my absolute, I guess it's biased because we have the 1994 version that, of course, we can't help but compare it to. I went into this movie last night putting everything aside. I told myself we're going to forget about the 1994 version. This is a complete retelling of the Crow story.
What's the first thing you liked about me?
I thought that you were quite brilliantly broken.
You feel like my person.
You feel like my person.
Same characters, Erik, Draven, and Shelley. And we know what happens to them. Typically, I read off the wiki and tell you what the movie's about. Most people know about The Crow, and if you don't, here's what it is. You have these star-crossed lovers that are extremely happy in this great place. They're absolutely in love, and then they get murdered. There's just saying, when they die. So if something so horrible, somebody that you loved so much is taken from you, that the soul cannot rest upon death and that it cannot rest until it makes things right. And so there's a supernatural element that brings a person that was completely in love back to life, making them immortal until they fix the wrongs that were done to them. Shelley in this movie, in the beginning, she has a friend that tells her that she has a video that can take down this big, big, big thug bad guy. A really, really, really bad guy. Shelley knows about this, and this is from her friend Zadie. Zadie's the one, I believe that was her name, that sends her this information. So they go after her friend, they kill her, and now they're going after her. Anyway, the movie then jumps. We're in rehab. It is a lockdown prison-like facility. Bill Skarsgård, Erik Draven, is in rehab where he meets Shelley, who is in rehab, this prison facility. Constantino, that's razor wire fences all around the facility. Anyway, they meet and they fall in love here. I thought this was cute in the beginning. I thought, okay, you know what? I can see this. This isn't so bad. They're addicts, they're reformed, they're bettering their lives. Next thing you know, the people that work for the big bad guy, they're there in this facility looking for Shelley because they're going to execute her, or they're going to bring her out of there and then execute her because she knows about this incriminating information. Bill Skarsgård and Shelley, they escape this facility, and it's a nice escape. I thought that was cool. They escaped, they were happy, they're running through the woods and they're celebrating, they're laughing. I thought this is kind of a cool story. I can see the bonding. They get out and go on a fucking drug binge. Not just drugs and some sex and some alcohol and some drugs. Blatant, in your face, pills in your mouth, showing off to the camera. This is glorified. I get it. I understand, drugs, adults, sometimes, but these are, this movie is like, these are kids. It was a full blown drug binge and it was completely glorified on film. And who wants to see this film? Youth, young people. I'm sorry, but this, to me, I'm no stick in the mud by any means. But man, this was in your face, blatant. Look at this. We are the stars of this movie. We are recklessly in love, drug addicts. I mean, how can you love somebody and truly love somebody when you're completely altered from the drugs that you're on, which is all they were doing when they were together is drugs. That's it. It baffled me why a director, Rupert Sanders, would allow this in this movie. Rewrite the goddamn script. This just didn't make sense to me. Everybody wants the Crow. They want Erik Draven to be a hero. And no offense if you have addiction problems, but this was just not setting up the correct hero. So let's jump forward. When they get out, where do they go? You know what? Quit. Let's go into what I liked and what I didn't like about the movie, because I'm on a rant and I really am going to rant because I really had great expectations for this. So what did I like about the movie? Let's go there. I thought the intro was good. I liked how Shelley and Erik, even though they were drug addicts, they met in rehab. They were reforming. They were getting sober. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed their escape and their fleeing. I thought that was great. I didn't have a problem with that. Bill Skarsgård, I enjoyed him. He has this presence on screen. There's something captivating about him. I don't know if it's his energy, it's his stature, maybe it's all of it, but his presence on screen is always great. When the movie does turn violent, that was good. It became recklessly violent. It was recklessly gory. I'm all for that. The initial Crow was not gory the way this one was. The initial Crow was very, very violent. There was death, but this movie like showed organs and limbs and bones. This movie was over the top with the gore factor. What else did I like? Oh, I really enjoyed the supernatural aspect of Erik's healing abilities. They did a good job with that. I will give them that. He would get shot, and you would literally, even the CGI, his healing was really cool, and I was really impressed with that. They did a good job to the special effects team. Let's get into what I did not like about this film. Rupert Sanders, why did your protagonist and protagonista, why were they recklessly still addicted to drugs after getting out of rehab? And why was the entire relationship based on drugs? That's what I did not like. It was dumb. In the 1994 movie, The Crow, it is about a couple at this peak of absolute, innocent, beautiful love. And it was wonderful. And there is a reason why Erik Draven came back. In this movie, how can these two people have ever been absolutely in love with each other when their minds are completely lost in drugs? Because the drugs completely alter your mind. They take you somewhere else. You're experiencing other things. You're not experiencing the other person. So this is an absolutely flawed love affair. This is another thing that I didn't like. Shelley knew these bad guys were out to kill her and silence her for life. They were going to execute her. So where does she go, and where does she bring her boyfriend when they get out of this facility? They go to her fucking apartment. Why? Who is that fucking stupid? They want to kill her. They know who she is. They know where she lives. She goes to her apartment. I will leave it at that. We have a bad guy. I really did not like this bad guy. There is this king supernatural bad guy that possesses these demonic powers, apparently, but we know nothing about him. We know, where does he come from? Who is this guy? Where does he get his abilities? He does some whispering, and then people do things for him. I think it was a failed attempt to create a villainous bad guy that could have potentially been terrifying, but you gave us a couple little crumbs when we really needed the whole cookie. What's up with this bad guy? Failed character right there. Another thing that I didn't like, the underworld where Erik would go to get information was okay. I did not like his guide in the underworld. The acting was terrible, in my opinion. I think they may have been trying to make him seem like that, but I thought the acting was terrible. The character, I was like, who is this guy? I mean, I wasn't a fan of his guide in the underworld. The violence was good, but what I didn't like when the violence started, it started when Erik went after the bad guy in this ballet. And in this big, huge ballet hall, there are apparently this infinite amount of henchmen that work for the bad guy, all cliche suit and ties working for the bad guy. But they're all needlessly and recklessly just running out and sacrificing their lives for this guy. It's like, how many of these henchmen does this guy have at his disposal that are just willing to lay down their lives for him? It didn't feel right. And they were all just like extras that were suited up just to run into a sword or get a shotgun blast to the forehead with brain splatter and blood spurts everywhere. They did good with that. But these cliche henchmen, there were too many and they were too cookie cutter. I did not like that at all. So the editing was shit. It felt like there were some scenes that jumped, but I felt like we were missing information that could have led us into the scenes. There were different plot inconsistencies that I didn't like. The movie felt jumpy. Like, here we are. Oh, wait, now we're over here. Hang on, how did we get here? I feel like I need more information. The movie had a lot of that. Let's rate it. It's time to rate this movie. The initial 1994 Crow was a 5 out of 5 pumpkin masterpiece. So for my final review for the pumpkins, we're going to give this movie 2 stars. I would give it a 1, but it was a watchable movie. But it should have in no way been affiliated with The Crow. This one was a total letdown for me. And don't get me wrong, there were some other shit Crow movies made, but this was the only one that was going to be an actual big budget reproduction of the original Crow. And it was a flop. You can watch this movie, yes, but it's a 2 pumpkin movie for me. Will this movie entertain people? It will. There is entertainment value there. There are actors. There is a lot of energy. It's just the energy wasn't put in the right place. It didn't have a great flow. Would I recommend this movie? No, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you are curious and you are a fan of The Crow, you've got to watch it just because it's in the lineage. So on that note, I guess the Pumpkin King's out. I got to do something about this makeup here, or I could go out and find Rupert Sanders.